Hey everybody, we are back. After a week off, we're finally back. The Fallen for Film podcast, episode 23. I am your host, Ryan O'Toole, and my co-host, Colin Williams. We took a week off, Colin. Thank goodness we did. We'll get into that in the story part. How you doing, man? This has been a bizarre week, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later. I had some ups and downs this week for sure. It was nice having like a little week off and stuff, get to see some family and whatnot. But glad to be back on the podcast, and I'm excited to let's get rolling on some movie news and talk about some sad stuff though, for sure.
But before we get into the sad stuff, we do want to introduce our new guest, and it's a guest that is very special. This is our second female guest. We had Kristen Maldonado a couple episodes ago, and I actually collabed with her before. If you recall on my channel at the start of this year, I did a decade live stream. We picked what was the best movie of the decade. I had Elsie Screen Talk, Sean Chandler Talks About, and did I have someone else? I was going to have Jay Vaders. He couldn't be on. I had Alyssa from Mainely Movies on, and she is our next guest around. Alyssa, how you been?
I've been doing okay. It's been starting to get cold up here, actually, in Maine. It's in the 50s today.
Same.
So it's fall is here.
I don't think I know what cold is in Florida.
Fall is here. I agree, Alyssa. It's getting cold up here in Massachusetts, too. It's been 60 these past 3 days. But
pumpkin spice lattes.
Pumpkin spice lattes are coming to Starbucks now. Mm-hmm. It's getting crazy. It still does not feel like fall.
I love how like restaurants, like I would not know St. Patrick's Day was coming up if it wasn't for the Shamrock Shake. You know what I mean? Like I guess St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Thanks, McDonald's.
Thanks, McDonald's. And you have Halloween candy all set up in July. Like, this is weird. But anyway, guys, I was glad we're all doing great and we're back on the podcast. But I hate to go into sad stuff because something really sad happened last night that came out of the blue. You obviously all heard the news. Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, Jackie Robinson in 42, Jackie Brown has passed away last night at age 43 due to what kind of cancer did he have? Colon cancer?
Colon.
It was unbelievable. I was in my room last night just watching YouTube videos, just having a blast, laughing it out. And then my brother Cody comes running down the stairs and he told me, Ryan, Chadwick Boseman died. I'm like, what? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, dude, 43. I'm like, this is crazy, dude. And apparently 4 years he's been battling colon cancer. It's just devastating, dude. Like 2020 is just the worst. I can't even imagine like what his family's going through right now. I was just mind blown. Colin, when did you first find out? I know you were on a watch along, right, for Extraction?
Yeah, we were doing a watch along on Extraction. Elliot did it. There was like this guy at the movies virtual film festival, so I was a part of that, and we were doing it. We just finished watching Extraction, and then we were doing like a little bracket, like tournament thing, picking our favorite action movies of the last decade, and kind of like what you guys did on the Best of the Movies thing, but we did it with action movies. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to decide it, and like right before like kind of like the final round, I think we had like 3 movies left. Jared looked on his phone. He's like, I don't mean to be sad news, but Chadwick Boseman died. Looked it up. I read the thing on the stream on Twitter, dude. It was just shocking news, and I think many people do realize this, but there's a lot of people that don't, on how important he was for superhero movies and just a figure in general.
Just an up and coming actor.
Yeah, up and coming actor. What he did for the character, and just an amazing person, super humble guy. Heartbreaking news, man. 2020 is just, it's not great. It's sad times, but yeah, man, it's just a shocker. And shout out to him for still working during those 4 years that he did have cancer. He did like 10 movies or something like that in that span of time. And he really committed and fought for, his career and stuff, but it sucks that he wasn't able to get past it.
Yeah. Alyssa, same thing. Chadwick Boseman, all these movies he's done, just the amazing person he was off the camera, going to children's hospitals, taking pictures with young kids, Black Panther fans. This is just the worst news in the world. What was your first reaction when you saw this?
Yeah, I mean, shock, obviously, was my first reaction. This was just, I I don't think anybody, obviously outside of his core circle anticipated this. Nobody really knew that this was going on with him. So that was surprising. And so, like you guys, I was kind of doing something else. I was actually watching the Red Sox game. And Twitter started kind of blowing up, and I saw it on there, and it was just like very shortly after, like 5 minutes after, they actually were talking about it on Nessun, like Eck and Jerry Rennie were talking about, because yesterday actually was the 2020 Jackie Robinson Day. It's just like weird timing. He was Jackie Robinson.
Stuff like that happens all the time. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. 42 was the first movie that I remember seeing him in, the first time I became aware of him as an actor. And so it's just, it's really heartbreaking, and it's very strange timing with that. And just, I don't know, like it's still shocking. It doesn't seem like it, it hasn't sunk in yet, I think.
Yeah, it definitely has not sunk in, and yet just think about it. If you were to say before last year, say we were going to lose legends like Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, Tom Brady was going to go to the Buccaneers, that still kind of hurts me. We're going to get a pandemic.
What was the
Black Lives Matter?
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Joel Schumacher. Who else? Just all these people, man.
The guy from Lord of the Rings, what was his name again?
Ian Holm. Ash from Alien. Just a shocking. If you were to say all these people were going to die this year, I would have called you crazy, slapped you a bunch of times, and kicked you in the nuts. Like, this is just a kick in the nuts type of year. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. I mean, for the amount of work that he has done in his career is just groundbreaking. Like 42, Jackie Robinson, Jackie Brown. It's just crazy. Did I say Jackie Brown? James Brown. That's what I meant. Not the movie Jackie Brown, but yeah, it's just awful.
Thurgood Marshall.
I love that movie. I love that.
A lot of diverse roles that he played. Beyond Black Panther, but obviously that one is a very important one in itself. But
yeah, and also the Five Bloods. I posted something on Twitter involving the Five Bloods. If you've seen the movie, then you know what scene I'm talking about. It just makes it more heartbreaking.
Scene in Portals too, when he's the first one to come out,
and
that means a lot now. And it always means something because it's just an epic moment as movie fans. But now you see it and you're like, it's just like almost going to be like a fantasy now, like almost as if he came back to life and we're reliving him being the icon of Black Panther again when we see that moment.
Yeah, so I obviously got the Black Panther gear behind me in his remembrance. But guys, I just wanted to talk briefly because this is a subject that everyone's been talking about. What are they going to do with Black Panther 2 now? Are they just going to cancel it, or are they going to recast? So here's my opinion on this. First of all, you do not recast Black Panther. That is the biggest disrespect to Chadwick Boseman possible. You do not recast the character. So I was talking with my coworker about this, who's also a big comic book guy, and he said, why not make Shuri the new Black Panther? And I'm like, I mean, it would have to make sense with the overall story. And I just don't know an alternate route that can make it work. I know Shuri becomes Black Panther in the comic books, but you would have to find an explanation of what happened to our main character, Black Panther. And I just don't know what they should do with the movie. I personally say just leave it at rest. There's other amazing franchises coming out for Marvel. And I think the best way to respect Chadwick Boseman is to not even recast him at all and just respect Black Panther for what it is and just leave it at one movie. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. Colin?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really concerned about it right now. And it makes me curious because this was so under wraps. Like, we didn't know he had colon cancer. A lot of people didn't know. I wonder if Kevin Feige and some of the people at Marvel knew what was happening in his life, so that there was maybe some sort of plan for it's happening. Hey, he's got cancer. Now we can't move forward with Black Panther 2. And to me, I'm not even really concerned about it. I think this just kind of comes first for right now, and then we'll find a creative way to kind of work around this stuff, because like with the MCU, it's like this movie connects to this, and Black Panther 2 is probably going to be a big key movie, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. But if they just one and done one Black Panther movie, had his time in Infinity War, Civil War, and Endgame, and then we just never saw the character again and just kind of moved on from that, I would be completely okay with that. Just have Chadwick Boseman just be the only person to ever play Black Panther, essentially, until like years down on the road when it's fully appropriate.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on this, Alyssa?
Yeah, kind of the same as what Colin was saying. I haven't even really been thinking about that. Again, like, I mean, he was so many things beyond Black Panther that I just not even to the point where I've been really considering it. But I could see either way that you guys have said. Either just kind of make the existing Black Panther movies or movies that he was in just be it for the character, or at some point down the line have it be Shuri, because like you're saying, it's kind of the familial thing, and that was what happens in the comics. But I think it's going to be a while before anything really moves on that, and I think that's a good thing, that it shouldn't be anything that they jump into anytime remotely soon.
Yeah, 100% agree. This definitely puts it off of the Phase 4 plans for sure. They got lots of other things to worry about than Black Panther. You got the Fantastic Four and Blade. And yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, Colin. I think you would have to tell someone like Kevin Feige what's going on. I don't know if they knew what was going on. They probably did with Chadwick Boseman. Like, this was just such a personal thing he didn't want to share, and that's totally understandable. But it's really sad news. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. You have made such an impact on this world, and you will never be forgotten. And I just wanted to take a moment of silence for him and his family. Okay. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's talk actually before we get into all the movie news. Let's talk about what we've been doing these past couple weeks. We took a week off. We needed it after that big whole DC fandom thing. We needed a week off, and actually I have a story after Colin shares his story. So Colin, what was the story you had to tell us?
It's technically like just the whole week. It was just like the Chronicles of Colin, basically. This week was insane. And kind of shifting gears, RIP, Chadwick Boseman and stuff, and now we kind of move into the movie news. But it's always a weird transition for sure. But talking about stuff like that. But so started off the weekend when we took the weekend off last week. I went to my grandparents' house and visited them. Had a great time. Spent like a full 24 hours with them, which was nice. Like 1 night, 2 days kind of thing. And we went on an airboat. Have you guys ever been on an airboat before?
I wish, but I have not.
Have you?
Yeah. You mean like the ones with the fan in the back?
Yeah.
I was near the Everglades. I've been in one.
I live in Florida, so it's kind of like swamp, gators around. So we right across my grandparents' house, they have like a body of water, and we went there. We went on the airboat, and nothing too crazy with this part. I just felt like I wanted to share this, but I drove it. I never driven a boat before. I've never driven an airboat, particularly, and it's weird because stick, and you're like pulling back and forth, and like it's like one goes left, one goes right, and you're just steering. And you have a pedal and everything, and it was really, really fun. So I feel like I needed to mention that because it's fun. All right, so then also back to school. I'm a teacher, so I went back to school. So that was kind of interesting. We did like the whole math stuff. I've actually been really impressed with my school, if I'm being honest. I don't know how long, how effective it will be, but things have been going pretty well so far. I got like 7 kids in the class, 7 to like 13. It's like nothing. It's pretty crazy. So I felt like I need to mention that. So those are kind of like the happier sides of my week. So back to work, a little bit of craziness there. Then on Wednesday, I get a text from this guy. I have my phone as like my camera, but I get a text from this guy on Instagram, or I'm sorry, a message on Instagram from a fan. And he said like, "Hey Colin, there's this kid, there's this other guy that's been like bullying me, calling me racial slurs, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. He looks up to you. Can you please message him and get him to stop?" I'm like, what? Like, I'm not a guidance counselor. I was like, I'm not. So I told him, I said, like, hey, I'm really sorry he's doing that. I'd rather not get involved. Like, if I'm assuming you two are adults, you guys kind of need to figure that sort of stuff out. Plus, if he's doing immature stuff like that, I don't see how me telling him to stop is going to make him to listen because he's already an irrational person. So I'm like, okay. So then I get a message from that guy, the other guy, and he's saying, hey, you might have got a message from this one dude saying that I'm calling him names and all this stuff. He's jealous because I'm dating like a girl that he likes. I'm like, what is going on? So I said, not dealing with you guys drama, bye. I'm pretty sure I blocked them both eventually. Then the girlfriend messaged me, the one that he like left or whatever. And I've messaged her before. She's messaged me a couple times just like, I like your videos. And so I'd seen it. There was history, and so I knew who she was. You know, we had talked before because she just said like, oh, I liked your newest video, whatever. I was like, thanks. And she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They're just being drunk. Don't listen to them. I just blocked all three of them. I was like, I don't care. I'm out. Then I get another message like, hey, you might have heard from my friends, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. They're super toxic and they all this stuff, and don't listen to them. They're sociopaths or whatever. And I'm like, okay, someone's duping me. Something's going on. This is a good case. I was like, this is the most bizarre thing ever. Then I get another message saying, hey, you might have heard from my friend, like another kind of thing. So then I'm like, I got serious trust issues by now. So I blocked everyone, and I get another message from this person, and they say, and I had previous conversations with this person, and now I'm starting to think this is all one guy. He's just like obsessed with me, has just messaged me on multiple different accounts and stuff. And he go on there, and me and him had previous conversations, like I like your movie reviews, whatever. So I knew who he was. And he's like, hey, Colin, I'm really excited about something. Can I show you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, so I'm aspiring like graphic artist. I made some sort of like thumbnail or something that I wanted to show you. Is it okay if I send it to you? I didn't respond because I didn't want to respond right away, and I had a feeling it might have been that same guy, and I was just like, I'm just gonna like kind of ignore it. Dude sends me pictures. I'm not gonna get very graphic, disturbing, disgusting pictures. Blocked them right away. And not to mention the first guy that messaged me sent me a picture of sexual stuff that was super gross, and blocked him.
Wow.
And then another guy messaged me after that and was like, hey, you blocked me on 4 different accounts. Like, can you block me on the 5th one so I could be happy? Blocked him on that one. Never heard from him again. But like, what is wrong with people? What is wrong?
With people this bored? Like
they're and when he sent me the picture of the disgusting images, I just said, LOL, you're a loser. That's all I said, because that's what you are. You're a loser if you do that. Like,
exactly.
That's just the definition of a loser. So that was disgusting and disturbing, and I can't even imagine if I get more subscribers what it's gonna be like, because I have 950, and like if that's what I'm getting, then I don't know how many more crazy people are gonna be coming my way later on. So that was interesting. Then we're gonna be talking about this later. I'm sure you guys saw New Mutants. Didn't get a chance to see it. I have an AMC A-list member.
Yeah.
Drove all the way to the theater. I got my tickets to my local AMC. They said it was going to be open August 27th. You know, have it on there. My ticket's on my phone. Everything's good. Drive to the theater to an empty parking lot. I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. Maybe it's just like coronavirus. I'm just like the movie nerd that's going to see the movies like as soon as it opens up. Yeah. And then I'm like, it's getting close to the movie, and I look at the thing, and my tickets disappeared. I'm like, the heck is going on? I'm like, what? So I go on there and I click New Mutants, and then the theater says on my AMC app says this theater opens September 3rd. I'm like, dude, they deleted my ticket, canceled the showing, pushed back their reopening date, and didn't notify me on the app, didn't tell me.
What about Tenet, bro? Is that canceled too?
It won't be there, so I have to see Tenet on Monday at a different theater.
Oh my god!
There's another AMC, but on the other side of the county. It's gonna be like a 40-minute drive.
Wow!
But luckily, I kind of work on the other side of my county. Like I have to drive about 25 minutes to my job, so I'm gonna just right from work. I'm gonna bring a change of clothes. Right from work, go right to the movies because I get off at 4:15. It's at 5. I'm going right there. I'm seeing it in IMAX.
Relatability.
It's insane. I mean, your thoughts on this craziness?
Oh my god, dude! Like, first of all, I talked to you about the AMC thing. I'm like, no email, no, like what?
Nothing. They just deleted it. And I don't understand why they're not.
It must have just been you though, if nobody else showed up. You know, like it must have like somehow something got lost on its way to you in terms of a message. Because if they didn't send anything, right, you'd expect a bunch of people like sitting in the parking lot, going like looking at each other, being like, "Is there a movie today?" Like,
well,
it's weird.
I have an old high school friend that messaged me and said that he saw that the ticket was deleted a day before, but I just didn't check. I bought it like earlier this week, and then just kind of waited until Thursday to go, and then it was gone. They didn't say anything.
Now you need to check your
Crazy.
email every day.
Well, but you know what? I don't understand why they push back the reopening date. The one in the other part of the county is open. Like, you guys haven't been open for months. Do you guys not have enough staff? Like, does someone like what are you guys doing? Like, you said you were gonna be open this day and then push it back the week of, change your mind. Like, that's weird. Like, that's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they refund your ticket or?
Yeah, I think that I guess. I don't know.
You read it if you don't.
Well, the thing is, I pay AMC A-list, so I pay $20 a month.
So it doesn't.
So it technically wouldn't be a refund, but I think I'm going to try and go tomorrow at some point to see it. So
New Mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Showcase subscribe, which is kind of like AMC A-list. Like, pretty much movie theaters have all these different deals. So
yeah,
that's not up here.
I can see 3 movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can see 3 movies a week for like $21 or something. It's a really great deal.
Yeah, isn't it like $5? You have $5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see 3 movies just anytime for $15, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, it used to be a little more expensive, but now since all of this has been going on, they dropped the tickets way down. So the one I went to for New Mutants was $5, and the other theater that's near me, I think, is $6 now. That used to be like $11. So they're just doing their typical. They used to have like cheap Tuesday movies. So they're just using that for all of their showings right now. At least I don't know how long it's gonna last, but yeah.
Probably not one. Yeah. That's weird, man. You want to hear my weird story?
Go for it, man.
All right. So you guys know my birthday was August 17th. So that was great. We celebrated with the DC Fandom podcast with a bunch of people. It was great. Celebrated the birthday. Celebrating a couple days later, I had days off from work and stuff. And then something just happened with the bottom of my legs. Like, I felt this really sore pain. Like, I felt like very weird. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have COVID or anything like that. Don't worry. So I went to the doctors, and apparently I had a big, I'm not embarrassed to say this, I had a big ass zit on my butt crack.
Right.
I'm not weird to say this. This is the truth. Like, it was that big, and I was in so much.
That it affected your lower legs?
It was on my butt crack. And
okay.
So I said that. I'm not. It's the truth. So
you've said it several times now.
So for these past couple days, I was in so much pain. Like, I stayed at home from work, and thank God I got better, because like I was in the worst pain possible. Like, I felt like I had like 20 knives stabbed to the bottom of my legs, and like pretty weird, pretty rough birthday. So after that, I went back to work. Everything was fine. Everything was cool. Everything was dandy. And then we found out the news yesterday. So I had a pretty cool but rough birthday experience, like, for the past week. So I was telling Colin, like, thank God we took a week off, because like I would not have been able to do the podcast last week. That's for sure.
I remember not this like last birthday I had, but the one before that, I had like bad strep throat, like bad, like the day before, and then I actually got like some amoxicillin. I got diagnosed with strep throat, and they're like, all right, here's some pills and stuff. And by the time it was my birthday, I felt better, but it was still like didn't great. I hate when that seems to happen sometimes. You're just sick on your birthday or something happens.
Yeah. And this was like the first time too. Like, usually these past couple birthdays have been fine, but like this happened in the year 2020. It's just like 2020 is just cursed. So that was my experience. Alyssa, how have you been during this whole COVID pandemic? I know we were going to go to Ace Comic-Con back in March, in Boston. We were going to meet a bunch of our YouTube buddies, Larry, Dwayne, and Tyler, and all them. And then we found out the COVID happened. We couldn't go and meet Ewan McGregor, Jake Gyllenhaal. Those were my photo ops. and then we were going to see Quiet Place 2 together, and then boom, it just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been, I certainly haven't had anything quite as interesting as your guys' recent experiences here, but, but I don't know, not too much has been happening. Things are pretty mellow up here in Maine, I think, compared to most places. And I've just, for the majority of, well, not the majority, like the entirety of this time period, pretty much since March, I haven't really done anything interesting. So lots of plans that have been ruined and postponed and things because of this. But it is what it is, I guess. And I teach as well, like Colin. But my teaching, my college has gone to pure online for this for summer and then this fall at least too. So I don't have to deal with actually going in person. Another college right near me hasn't, and
Yeah.
they already have cases. So I'm like, oh, of course.
Okay.
But at least my school that I teach at, it's all online. So that started up this week as well, like Colin. But nothing that
I'm in person. I can't stand wearing that freaking mask all day, dude.
Hell no.
It's like on my ears and it hurt. I don't even care. I can't breathe. It's like I'd rather do it online, but
yeah, I mean, online's kind of a pain for science, though. For lab, I mean, there's like I can't do lab like we normally would.
All right, grab your thing. You can grab the microscope.
Yeah, they don't have anything, so it's like, oh, use the virtual microscope on some other college's website. It's a mess, but I'm glad I don't have to be in person because I wouldn't have been happy with that. I don't mind wearing a mask. Like that's not my problem. It's just it's just literally a petri dish at schools just in general. So I can only imagine what it's like now. Yeah.
I work in the Publix in the grocery store, so I wear masks every day and I hate it.
You work at Publix?
No.
Oh, I thought you said Publix.
In the public.
No, I work in the public with people.
Oh, I thought you said Publix because that's the grocery store that in Florida.
I know, yeah, Publix.
So I was like, wait, you don't have a Publix in Massachusetts, do you?
No.
Okay.
And I work in the public with people, so I don't like wearing a mask. I can't wait till it's over. But this has been strange, just really strange. But I'm excited to dive into this movie news and actually talk movies. So we're back with the podcast, guys. If you are new to the podcast, if you want to check out more podcast episodes, and if you don't have time to watch it on YouTube, there is Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. So you can go check us out over there. Leave us a review and a rating on iTunes. We greatly appreciate that. So again, podcast platform links are in the description if you're interested. All right, so there's tons of movie news, new movies this week we got to dive into. So I think we should first talk about DC Fandome that just happened this past week. It was a big, crazy event on August 22nd. All day long, I was at home watching all the panels and all the trailers that came out. And this was just a great event. First of all, DC, hats off to you. You know how to throw a panel together. Just all around, I really enjoyed it. Alyssa, I know you did some trailer reactions to all the trailers. What were your thoughts overall? Did you actually watch the event or just the trailers?
I watched part of it. I stopped. I didn't watch the trailers live because I wanted to react to them like first time watching them. But I watched most of the panels like up until the trailers, and then some of the panels I didn't watch. It was mostly the movie ones that I watched. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty well done given everything, and I enjoyed it. And I'm excited for some of the stuff that's coming out. Some of it was kind of like, oh, whatever to me, but I don't know. I was impressed too. So.
Oh yeah. Colin, I know you didn't really watch the event, right? All you just care about is one thing.
Yeah. No, I wanted to watch it, but I was with my grandparents the whole
That's right. Yeah, your grandparents.
So I caught the highlights at like 1 a.m. because actually I didn't mention this. I showed my grandparents Election, which is my most like introduced movie that I do. And my grandpa liked it, my grandma didn't. Needless to say.
Have you seen Election, Alyssa?
Yeah, I was trying to see if it was within reach, but it's over there.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I only saw not super recently, but in the past few years was the first time I ever saw it. So
it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I've talked about it a billion times on this podcast, but I showed him that, and needless to say, like he liked it, but my grandma didn't for obvious reasons because it's like it's like a naughty
bizarre
movie.
comedy movie.
Yeah, it's like a very raunchy comedy, but it's a great movie. But we watched this. I was up late. We watched this, so I went in there and just kind of watched all the trailers. I think I watched like the Wonder Woman. I kind of watched the Wonder Woman trailer on my way up there. Like I was driving, so I like didn't really. I kind of listened to it, But yeah, the Batman trailer was really where I.
Oh, dude, I watched that trailer probably over 100 times by now. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I'll probably go watch it as soon as we're done.
The Nirvana song I just been listening to.
As soon as that started, I was like, Nirvana, something in the way.
Nirvana. It fits. It fits.
Yeah.
Oh,
so the panels, I watched the highlights of the Matt Reeves one, which dude, that guy just knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, dude. I was impressed with him. He was definitely the best speaking about his movie. All the other ones were kind of just like, joking around and sort of just being people like the cast members interacting and stuff.
Yeah,
but that one, he was giving like lots of good information. So.
Exactly. Yeah, he knew what the fuck he was talking about. Like,
yeah. People were talking shit about it. I was on Matthew V. Haynes' stream. I'm like, we want to see the trailer. I'm like, do not listen to Matt Reeves. Like, he is talking. He knows what he is doing. Like, I love everything about the DC fandom. Like, all the panels were great. The Wonder Woman, the Flash, didn't really care. What was another one? The Suicide Squad panel. While they were playing games.
A little look, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the whole entire thing, the whole entire event. Really enjoyed most of the panels, and the Black Adam one was really cool too. But really, the Batman, I was just waiting all day for this, and then Matt Reeves comes on talking everything about the Batman, saying that it's basically going to be like a 2-year film. Basically, Batman's going to be in his second year, the Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin. Like, I'm just really invested already, and that trailer was so great.
Yeah, I love the tonal approach that it seems to be taking. It's dark and it's kind of it's bringing in that detective side of Batman, which I don't think we've really seen at play ever in any of these other movies. And so I like the mystery aspect. It looks good.
Yeah, and it looks like David Fincher is like doing this Batman movie. Like, dude.
Yeah, definitely major 7 vibes from that trailer.
I saw when I saw the photograph they took in the trailer, when you see like no more lies, and then they took those like the newspapers that said lies, and they took a picture. I was like, I didn't realize David Fincher directed this movie. Like, it looks like Seven. It looks like Zodiac. It looks like Prisoners. It looks like Prisoners. It looks like a little bit of Saw with like the voiceover from the Riddler. I haven't even seen Saw, but I've seen like the trailer.
You are justice.
Yeah, dude. That's like already the quote of the year, dude. If you are justice,
please do not lie.
Oh yeah, please do not
lie. I thought it was Andy Serkis. I'm like, Paul Dano, man, he's gonna kill it. I can't wait.
And I will say this, Wonder Woman. You know how much I love that first movie. Like, it's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. Top 10.
You love it, dude.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's like I love that movie so much, and I've said that I'm so looking forward to 84. Love the first trailer. Wasn't a fan of the second one, really.
Oh, I disagree.
I figured you would, but I actually
it's because of Cheetah.
It just, I don't know. It felt like what made the first one so great is it had those like funny moments, the fish out of water stuff. But it had like messages about like the brutal nature of war. Like that sequence where she goes out there and she's like a no man's land, and she takes that leap of faith to be the hero. Mm-hmm. This movie just kind of dives more into the fun. Oh, look at 80s. Oh, look at it's Chris Pine with the fanny pack, and it was all funny stuff. I enjoyed it, and it seems like Cheetah's motivations coming from jealousy, like, you're pretty and get everything and you're a superhero. Now I'm not I just didn't really, if anything, it kind of made me a little bit worried. I do. The only thing is I have immense respect and trust in Patty Jenkins. I think she just gets it. I think she just understands how to direct action in particular, and then the messages that she portrayed in Wonder Woman were, like I said, I think that movie doesn't get enough credit for how it depicts war and how brutal it was.
Brutal, man.
And in a way that's still accessible to audiences and kids can still like it and stuff, and it hints those themes. And this one just like, oh, fun little 80s kind of movie. And I wanted to see a little bit more of a serious edge to that gloss, that 80s gloss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, man. I mean, people are going to say it's just a trailer, but we'll definitely see what Patty Jenkins. I have 100% trust.
Yeah, I have confidence. It's just a trailer. It's like, it doesn't mean the movie's not going to be great.
Yeah. Alyssa, what were your thoughts on the first Wonder Woman and just the sequel in particular?
So I really enjoyed the first Wonder Woman as well. That's probably my favorite movie in the DCEU so far, and probably I assume. Well, it'll remain that unless I don't know. The Batman technically isn't part of the DCEU though, right? It's kind of its own standalone thing.
I think we would just consider it the modern era from 2013.
I think pretty much this next wave of DC films, like they're going to explore the multiverse. I think they're all part of different universes, so we'll definitely have to see.
Yeah, but so I really like the first Wonder Woman, and this one I'm excited for it. I liked the first trailer for the sequel better than I liked this most recent trailer. I don't know, it was good, like, but it didn't get me like more excited than I already was. And so I'm still excited, just not more excited as the result of this most recent trailer.
It's supposed to kind of bring you up a couple notches with the trailer. This one just kept me like, actually probably decreased it a little bit because I'm still looking forward to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking shit about Cheetah. Like, she doesn't look her best. Like, but it's just a trailer. Well, we only saw bits and pieces of Cheetah, so we don't know how it's going to fully look.
Plus, there's only so much you can do with a character like that. I mean, just like she's not. I don't know. Like, I mean,
they did a good job showing her.
A tough character to translate to a movie, like a live action.
They did a good job showing her at night for sure, so she's not like looking overtly goofy if it was in the middle of the daytime and she's dressed like a cheetah
or look like cats.
Yeah. And then I guess we should move on to the real stuff, the Batman trailer. Like even more.
Dude.
I mean, like I'm gonna say it right now. I'm just gonna say it. Robert Pattinson this is my prediction, will be the best Batman, and this will be the best Batman movie. It looks better than The Dark Knight. It just does. Just like what I want in a superhero movie, The Dark Knight does a lot of amazing things. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like top 3 superhero movie. Like, it's great. But there's some things to be desired with the action sequences. I think that's kind of well documented, especially within Batman, like his fighting. This one just gets it, man. It's like David Fincher directed a Batman movie, detective, gritty. Like Nolan's movies were grounded, but it still had that fantasy kind of like a little bit of element of this is still super. Like this one looks like dude, this is a murder mystery. Like the Riddler is straight up like the Zodiac killer, basically, and we're gonna solve these crimes and we're gonna put these people in these situations, and Batman's just gonna beat the living hell.
Dude, like people are complaining Robert Pattinson, like he's not gonna beat people up, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yes, this is the Batman I've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's like he did like 10 punches in like 2 seconds.
Dude, he freaking killed him. Like, I don't know. Like, and then he's like, I'm vengeance. I'm like,
and like I said,
yes.
and we kind of disagree on this, Ryan. Although it's not like disagree, it's just like you think there's Christian Bale's a definitive Batman. I said that there isn't one yet. We don't have one that fits everything that we want that I want in the character. I'm like, okay, he's great Bruce Wayne, he's the detective, he's this, he's that, he's got the fighting style. Like Christian Bale is so great in the role, but I think this Robert Pattinson is just going to be the best of everything. We saw how he could fight. We saw he's going to be more of a detective story. We saw his look. And then we got to see more. We're gonna have to see more of the Bruce Wayne, but then his voice was really awesome. I loved the car that he has, the Batmobile. It's just gritty, it's real, and I'm just gonna say it. He's already my favorite Batman. And I've seen a trailer. He's my favorite Batman. I don't care.
He'll for sure be the darkest one. Like this is a completely serious. Like I love.
I was just saying real quick, but what I'm saying isn't as surprising because I've heard a lot of people be like, "Yeah, he's the best Batman already." Like they haven't even seen the movie, like the trailer.
I've seen a trailer. He looks like he'll be the best. I love the line Penguin says. Colin Farrell, like already give the Oscar to best makeup to the Batman because
I know.
oh my god, Colin Farrell looks
This guy's
ugly.
crazy.
This guy's crazy. I'm like, this is what I want from Batman, like a crazy off the rails Batman.
Just like wants to. He's just so.
He wants to kill you. He wants to kill you. He's gonna break the one rule.
I love that line where he's like, "This guy's crazy." So, Alyssa, do you have any closing thoughts before we nerd out anymore?
Sorry.
So I mean, I agree with what you guys have been saying. I like Christian Bale as Batman, but I'm not like, like married to the idea of him being the best. So I am fully open to Robert Pattinson potentially being the best Batman. But the one thing I'll say is like, I'm going to try to keep my expectations tempered a little bit just because they've only shot such a small part of the movie.
25%.
And so my only potential concern is that with them taking so much time off, because of the pandemic and then going back, that maybe there's going to be something, right? A different vibe. They're not going to mesh the same way they had been doing before, or something might change a little bit with the dynamic. Not intentionally. I think the direction that the trailer is indicating is what,
I just need whoever edited that trailer deserves a raise. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, that was a really great trailer and amazing considering, like you said, they've only shot 25% of the movie, and like that's a full-blown trailer. Like that could have been the trailer even if they had the entire film shot.
I mean, your concerns are like legit, but for some reason, I don't know if I've ever been more confident that a movie's going to be amazing. Like I just see it and I'm like, there's 0% chance this is going to suck. It's just like, you just can't have the vibe that you're giving off in the shots that you, I like you see things like a Joker trailer, like, oh my God, that trailer was amazing. But you're like, I could see where they might slip up every now and then in the messaging or whatever. And maybe it could go me a little sappy with, okay, oh, I'm sad and now I'm an evil Joker. I'm just looking at this trailer and I can't see how it trips. I can't see how it folds. Like I just don't see it. I don't know. I've never been more confident in a movie, maybe ever in my entire life, that it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves alone. I mean, what he's done with the Planet of the Apes movies, he's done. He's proven that he could take a character that is broken, that has to learn to rise up and become a leader, like with Caesar, and with Batman, he's taken on a project that's entirely serious and a very iconic character in pop culture. That this is going to be a Batman that we have never seen before. A character that is dark and serious, and again, looks like he wants to kill you. Like, I just cannot wait for this movie.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Always with the Planet of the Apes with you, Ryan.
Yeah, I figured I'd throw that.
This man loves the planet. I love the planet. I mean, they're really good.
Alyssa does not. I'm just kidding.
No, I did. Yeah. I was just, oh man, I was like, I'm going to be forever known as the person who apparently hates Planet of the Apes on your channel, but I do like it.
But I will say Ryan puts them to like, I don't want to say absurd because they're really great movies, but he puts them like up. Like he's
so biased.
Okay, not just him, Larry, and Sean.
And Sean, yeah, we're all Apes fans.
The thing is, I haven't seen Dawn in years. I haven't seen War since it came out, and I saw Rise pretty recently, actually.
I'll revisit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all great. I mean, actually, I wasn't the biggest fan of War, if I'm being honest. I mean, it was well made. Like, it was like a really good movie. I was just kind of bored. I was like. Pretty bored.
I was not bored 1 minute. I mean, I understand why people would be bored with War of the Planet of the Apes. They just want to see action, boom, 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 guns. Like, if you really examine that movie, revisit it.
Well, you come from Dawn. That's what kind of Dawn was. Dawn was like action-packed and amazing. But it's it had character moments and stuff too, yeah.
But it's really a focus about these it's all about the apes. Like, it's a big struggle. We're focusing on CGI characters, and we're just so invested with the apes in those movies. And many people just love the action and the human elements. I'm like, these movies tackled so much more in storytelling than any other sci-fi film these past couple decades. So, yeah, I love these movies. So, so that's our thoughts overall on DC fandom. I mean, I really enjoyed the whole entire experience. I thought all the panels were really good. Shazam, I can't wait for that. Fury of the Gods, that's what that one is. Suicide Squad, James Gunn, I can't wait to see what they do with that. What else didn't we really talk? Aquaman didn't show anything. They were just joking the whole time. But yeah, DC fandom was an awesome experience. So anyway, let's get to our next topic, guys. So new movies this week. So Colin has no thoughts.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Bye, Colin.
Since AMC screwed me over, I'm going to take a little break.
Yeah. All right. So new movies this week. This is a segment we do now that theaters are opening back up, supposedly for some people, and new movies are coming back in the theater. So this is a segment we do whenever there's new movies in theaters, and we talk about them for a bit and say if they're worth checking out. So we had new movies this week. One in theaters, New Mutants. Thank goodness. After a 3-year-long hiatus. 2017, it was announced. 2018, its first theatrical release. And now we're in 2020, and it's finally here. And Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is on VOD and in some theaters. I've seen both. Alyssa have seen both. We'll give you our quick thoughts on them. So, Alyssa, we'll start with you.
So I liked both of them. I liked Bill and Ted more, but I did like the New Mutants. That it's the first movie I've seen in the theaters for 5.5 months, I think.
5 months, yeah.
So that's the longest I've ever gone in my entire life since I started watching movies when I was 4 years old in the theater, that I've gone without going to the movie theater. So that was just
Bloodshot? Wasn't Bloodshot?
Yeah, Bloodshot was my last one.
Oh God.
So
I saw The Hunt. It wasn't that bad, actually.
That was my second to last.
Hunt.
Yeah, I
was
saw that
I
one,
saw.
and then Bloodshot I saw the very next day. But yeah, so that just in itself, being back at the movie theater was awesome. So that, but I mean, also just seeing the New Mutants, like this thing has been pushed back 5 times. Like this has had 5 different release dates. Like it's insane that, it's finally out. But I mean, I didn't really know much about it going in. Like, I don't know if you guys read the comics or anything for the New Mutants, but like, I didn't know anything about this story or these characters or anything. So, I mean, that's how I kind of always go into most of these comic book movies, because I don't read the comics. But,
Same.
But I thought it was fine. Like, it wasn't my favorite. It's not my favorite X-Men movie, but it's not my least favorite either. I thought it was it's almost a standalone thing, tonally, character-wise, and story-wise, which I don't know if it was originally intended to be, or if it became that after the Disney buyout of the Fox franchise and kind of subsequent shutdown of that. But I thought it was fine. Like it had its good moments. It had things I didn't like as much about it, but overall, like I had a fairly entertaining time with it. So I'll let you talk about that, then we'll come back to Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I'm the same on New Mutants. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. I didn't hate it. And the experience being back in the theater was pretty scary, to be honest, but I actually had a good time. It was a limited capacity in my theater. I think it was around 30 to 40%. So I felt completely safe, had the mask on, and the mask didn't bother me, surprisingly. And the movie was short, so maybe we'll see how 10 it is. But I enjoyed it. It has issues. It definitely has issues. As I explained in the review, the movie's too short, and I could see why, because of the reshoots, a lot of stuff they cut out. We don't know what was cut out, but I loved Anya Taylor-Joy in that. She was easily my favorite part. And Maisie Williams, big Game of Thrones fan. It was just a fun time, and it has a lot of problems in it. I'm like, that was not a good idea. I'm like, oh, that's a reshot sequence. Like, it was pretty predictable, and yeah, I could definitely see people's issues on that, but it's not the worst.
It's not being received well at all, though. You guys are going positive, and those people, like, a lot of my YouTube friends, like, did not like it at all.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised by the overwhelmingly negative reviews. I think some people probably had their minds made up about it kind of going in. And that's understandable with something like this, especially after kind of being teased about this movie or by this movie for 3 years. And then like you want something to be amazing. And then it's just an average movie, so it's kind of underwhelming maybe to have this be your first one back in the theaters. And then it's kind of this like, it's just an okay movie. But I don't know.
Our friends Chris and Jaren both gave it a 3 out of 10 on their channel.
I disagreed.
Chris said, and I quote, "The script is atrocious." So I'm interested in your guys' thoughts on that.
The script is wonky. It's not atrocious. there's some good character moments in here. Between Anya Taylor,
could that been from the acting though?
the acting's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely, the performances are good. I would say the issues with it are mostly script based. So I think part of it is the plot seems to have been kind of hacked up. I do think this was originally a much more expansive story in itself, because there are hints and references to a lot of things that just never go anywhere. And you kind of expect it to do something, and it doesn't do things.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's one.
it kind of just peters out. And so I thought that was an issue. And then there's dialogue issues. Definitely, sometimes, not all the time, but certain lines from characters are just really cliche or just overly. They don't feel like something that a teenager would naturally say. It sounds more like some old guy wrote it thinking a teenager would say that. And so the performances kind of almost save that a little bit, because they do a good job with an iffy script sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you got great actor. Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job. Maisie Williams does a great job. Blue Hunt, this was like her first film debut. She only did like a short film. I thought she was good. Charlie Heaton as well. A lot of people complain about his like Texas accent in there, but he did the best he could. I didn't really like the doctor character. That was pretty much it. Yeah, the script is very wonky. Like, there's a lot of interesting subplots in there that they didn't explore at all. Like, there's one spoiler in the movie, I won't ruin it for Colin. Like, this is interesting. I wanted to learn more about it, and it's just breezed off like that.
What about Bill and Ted? Was that any good?
I enjoyed Bill and Ted, dude. I mean, this is the first time I watched these movies. The first time this year. I really enjoyed Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter as Bill and Ted. I mean, excellent. And just watching these movies, they're just fun. They're just enjoyable. The first one's a classic. The second one is not as good, but it's still enjoyable. But this third one, man, I love Samara Weaving in there. Bridget Payne as the daughters. I love a spin-off film with those two. That'd be awesome. And
I've heard some people questioning, saying the dreaded word SJW. They're saying some agendas in this movie. Is that true, or are they overreacting? Any agendas being pushed here? I don't know.
Not that I could think of. I can't even think of an example of where that would be.
People are always getting upset about something. I was just curious.
I did not see any of that in this movie.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would have triggered something like that for people.
Yeah, I did not see that in this movie at all. Yeah, what were your thoughts, Alyssa, on Bill and Ted?
I was surprised. Pleasantly surprised by it. I mean, I've known the Bill and Ted movies for my whole life. I watched them when I was a kid, and I always liked Excellent Adventure. Bogus Journey a little less. It gets a little weird, but I always liked Death in that movie.
I love Death. Death was awesome.
He's funny. And so, I hadn't watched them for quite a while. I hadn't watched them since probably I was like an early young teenager. Was the last time I had seen these. So I rewatched them, in the last couple weeks here, and Face the Music was like a really nice kind of story continuation, story culmination, and just kind of reference and nod-filled tribute almost to those two other movies. There's so much there, and it's not like a plot rehash. It has elements that are very similar, but it kind of brings back, it's almost like a greatest hits of the different things from those previous movies without feeling like it's just a greatest hits kind of compilation sort of story. It did some interesting things. I agree that the daughters were great. I love their whole, we'll say, collection subplot. That was probably my favorite part of the movie, my favorite sequence. I wasn't expecting that at all, but it was great. Yeah. I would like, if you were talking about like a spin-off, I would love to just see a whole movie about that idea of going, and I won't ruin it, but collecting certain people. And so I really like that. And I just, Bill and Ted, they still, I mean, they're old, so it's a little weird at first, kind of having them be like, dude, that kind of thing.
Reeves, no.
But like, you get used to it, and you kind of they fall right back into the groove of things, and so they're still believable as these characters. I mean, the other movies weren't the best either. I mean, they weren't like the greatest things of all time. So this, I don't know, this was very much in line with those previous ones, especially Excellent Adventure. This one seemed much more similar to that than Bogus Journey, but still had elements from both. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah. Yeah, so Colin, you should watch the Bill and Ted movies, man. They're all fun. Time travel, Back to the Future. It's got some really cool stuff in there.
I wanted to do it, and it's just because of this. I recently moved. I went back to work this week. It was too much, man. to be able to get it done. So
yeah, so you'll check out New Mutants at some point, and then next week will be awesome because we'll talk Tenet. Thank goodness.
Tenet.
So that's new movies this week. I actually want to get a question about the movie theater experience, if they can keep this going. Alyssa, I want to get your take on this first. Basically, with the social distancing and all that, COVID's still going on. Do you think theaters can keep up this system they got going on, or maybe if more cases rise up, they could do another closing? What's your thoughts on this overall? If once movie theaters start opening up for everyone, can they keep this up, or I don't know?
I think it very much depends on location. I don't think every place is going to be able to sustain this type of a system. It is tough. So I think places I feel like I'm not the best one to speak to this because I'm in Maine. I'm in kind of like the middle of nowhere. Like there were 5 other people in the theater with me for New Mutants. But I don't know. I felt fine in my theater mostly because it was so few people. But I gotta say, I wasn't unimpressed with my theater. They did a good job. Like they wouldn't let people in the building without masks on. They wouldn't let it. But I gotta say, they didn't come in to look in the theater once it got going. And I was literally the only person who kept my mask on for the whole movie, which was disappointing. Some people were eating, but used that as an excuse and then just set their popcorn to the side and didn't put their mask back on. So that was kind of annoying. But we were really far apart.
I was gonna say, if they're so far apart, it's probably. Yeah,
I mean, so I didn't personally feel unsafe, but maybe if it was a more full theater, I would have been a little, I don't know, iffier on it. So I can fully understand people not feeling comfortable going back to the theaters in more, populous areas. I mean, you're in Boston or near Boston, so you've got you've got a lot more people than I do.
Yeah, I'm questioning Tenet right now. It depends.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna see Tenet. I
meant I'm gonna see it. I'm questioning the capacity.
Oh, okay. Is it already sold out or full in your theater? I am the only person who's bought a ticket so far for Tenet at my theater. So, but I imagine it'll start to fill in a bit. But
it'll have to see how that movie does in terms of theaters and all that, if they can keep this going or not. I'm going to see Tenet, obviously. Just how they're going to do the capacity and all that, and the social distancing in a big theater, an IMAX theater. So that's just something I wanted to ask you guys, just because movie theaters are open up for certain people, while many states like California are still not open. It's just a question I had in mind. So I think we should talk about some movie news that came out while we took the week off. It's Olivia Wilde news. She's going to be directing a Spider-Woman movie for Sony. I thought that was really cool news to hear. I love Olivia Wilde. Booksmart, really good movie. And I had some opinions on who I'd like to see play Spider-Woman. So, Colin, I know you weren't a big fan of Booksmart, but Olivia Wilde as a director and her doing a Spider-Woman movie. What's your opinion on this, man?
Yeah, Booksmart is really painfully unfunny, but it wasn't the direction. It was probably the strongest part was the direction. It was really unique and its approach, and she was really well helmed. I think it was her directorial debut, so quite impressive. Actually, completely different movies and completely different directing styles, but a movie I was not a fan of and I rewatched last night was Extraction. All the problems in that movie had nothing to do with the directing. The directing was really good in Extraction. The directing was really good in Booksmart. The only problem was that it was so
the story
unfunny.
Sucks.
No, the story didn't suck. It's a comedy, and I love coming of age movies.
I find it funny.
And it was just so unfunny. It was just trying to be Superbad, and Superbad is like people were saying it was better than Superbad. I wanted to punch them in the face. Like it is not better than Superbad. It will never be. It's not even close. But anyway, it's fine. Whatever. The performances are great. Like whatever. It just wasn't for me. I'm not even gonna. It's just not really for me. But anyway, I think she's a great choice because of her directing in that movie. Like I said, I think the directing was the strongest part of that film. And I think she's a fantastic choice to direct a Spider-Woman movie. The whole idea of a Spider-Woman movie sounds fine. I don't know much about like the Spider-Gwen or Spider-Woman or Spider-Girl or whatever it is. I'm just up for it. I don't care who plays it. Just find like a young up-and-coming actor. I don't really want someone big or anything like that. Just kind of like an unknown, honestly. And I'm sure they'll make a good casting decision, hopefully.
Yeah, Alyssa.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much echoing what Colin said. Like, I'm curious to see what Olivia Wilde can do with a movie like this. I didn't mind Booksmart, but I didn't like it as much as I think most people seem to. But again, the direction in it was quite good. And I've liked Olivia Wilde for a while. I mean, all the way back to when she was on House as 13. I used to watch that
very
show.
Pretty.
And so I don't know. I think it could be pretty good. And similarly, like I don't really know much about the Spider-Woman character. Again, we've already established that I don't read the comics. So I don't really have any major thoughts on who should play it because I don't really know too much about the character. So, but I'm curious. I'm up for it, and I'm excited that it's going to happen.
Yeah, so I think a Spider-Woman movie has been talked about for a while, but they just haven't dived into it yet. They were trying to find the right person, and you found the right person. I think Olivia Wilde is a fantastic choice, since she's trying to get into more, known properties now after Booksmart. I really enjoyed Booksmart too. I haven't revisited it in a while, so
revisited it. I'd be interested because I've heard it doesn't age well too. People that liked it, like I know Griffin and I were talking. He's like, yeah. Watching it a second time, it doesn't hold up as well. So I'd be interested in your take if you saw it again.
Yeah, I enjoyed it the first time. I like to see an actress who was in the movie, Caitlin Dever, as Spider-Woman. That'd be a really cool addition. Even though I want her to play another character, Ellie, in the Last of Us TV series. It'll whatever she does. Whoever they cast for Spider-Woman, I'll be very excited. I agree. Get someone unknown, someone young that could play the character and do it justice. So I don't have much thoughts either, but I'm excited. Olivia Wilde's doing another project.
Shout out to Olivia Wilde. Good job.
Yeah, getting work. So now I think we should talk about another Sony project that's getting a movie. I have no thoughts on almost. I was just like, what? What are they going to announce? KRAVEN the Hunter is getting a movie. I
don't have any.
So KRAVEN the Hunter. KRAVEN the Hunter.
I just don't care.
I'm just gonna breeze by and say this: KRAVEN the Hunter should be in Spider-Man 3. Don't make a movie. Anyway, next.
Yeah, I have nothing. You can literally move on.
This is the dumbest piece of news I've heard. So let's talk.
Jason Momoa as Frosty the Snowman.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know what's the most dumb news. Yeah. So I want to talk about a Disney project that I'm actually interested now in, Raya and the Last Dragon. They just casted Raya, Kelly Marie Tran. You may know Rose in Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. A lot of people I can tell were up in flames with this casting, but people are giving her too much hate. I didn't hate her as Rose as much in Last Jedi, but yeah, some parts with her character could have been better written. But Alyssa, are you excited for Raya and the Last Dragon?
Moderately. I honestly don't usually get too excited for like Disney and Pixar movies until we get a lot closer to them. Until I kind of know what's going on. Not that I'm not going to be excited. I pretty much always am by the time we get close enough. But I don't really know too much about the project at this point to be overly excited about it. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like I look forward to pretty much every Disney movie. But in terms of this casting, I don't have a problem with it. Like I know she isn't the most well-liked person in several fandoms at this point, but I don't have a problem with her. Her character in Star Wars, the character I didn't really care for, but it had nothing to do with her. It was just I didn't think that the character had much to do. But I'm happy that she's getting this type of an opportunity now to be in it seems like a starring role in a Disney movie. So I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, and Aquafina too. I forgot she's also going to be in
Aquafina's
it,
amazing. I love Aquafina.
Yeah.
The Farewell, no Oscar love. What the hell is that about?
The Farewell. Oh my God, that was one of the best performances last year. I was sad. Yeah, Colin, Ryan the Last Dragon.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Kelly Marie Tran. I have nothing against her as a person, but I just don't think she's a very good actress at all. I'm not just speaking objectively. There's room for her to grow, and I think a good place to start would be a role like this where she can, it's a Disney property for sure, leading role. It's a good opportunity for her. I'm definitely happy that she got that for her, that she's a leading role in an animated. I guess it's a Disney movie, not Pixar, right? It's Disney, right?
It's Disney. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to her. That's awesome. I think the character of Rose isn't just a terribly written character, but I think part of why that character was so bad, I think, was because of the performance. She just had, it felt so awkward and off from the rest of the movie and the rest of the performances. I felt like she was trying way too hard, almost had too much energy to her, and had this I don't know, this energy of that John Boyega was supposed to have, and then kind of overshine what he kind of found, the foundation he had in The Force Awakens, and kind of ruined his character basically, because as soon as he met Rose, his character sucked. So I blame the Rose character for a lot of things, because I like The Last Jedi. I've always said I still like it, but I just think that character is her and Holdo are some of the worst written Star Wars characters ever. But I just don't think the acting's where it needs to be. But there's a lot of defenders of her, people that really support her. She's I've listened to interviews. She's a really nice lady and stuff. So I'm looking forward to see what she does in this movie. I'm just not impressed with her acting yet, but hopefully she gets there.
Yeah, when it comes to Rose as a character, was not the best written. It's not the acting. It's Kelly Marie Tran. She seems like a really nice person and really awesome too. But kind of like what you guys were saying, a Disney project, Raya and the Last Dragon, this would be a great opportunity for her to grow, get into voice acting. Voice acting seems like it could be a lot of fun, and exploring, a property that we don't know anything about with Raya and the Last Dragon. So I think it could be a great gateway for her to actually, get some recognition. And, she's going to have those haters. I don't get the hate for her. She's a really great person all around. I'm looking forward to seeing her in the lead role of Raya and the Last Dragon, and what they do with that project. I mean, I always look forward to pretty much anything Disney Animation does. I want that Zootopia sequel ASAP, but Raya and the Last Dragon, you got Aquafina in there too. I'm always
playing the dragon. She's playing the dragon too.
The dragon. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. So that gets me even more pumped now. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it comes out next year. I don't know what date yet. So I actually wanted to get your quick thoughts on a trailer that came out last week as well. Death on the Nile. Have you guys both watched it?
Yep.
So this is the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, which I was not a fan of that movie. So it's made tons of money, so it's getting a sequel, and it's based on the Agatha Christie novel. Alyssa, I gotta get your thoughts on the trailer first.
I'm intrigued. I actually didn't mind Murder on the Orient Express, but this remake, obviously, I mean, there have been many versions of this over the years. I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I thought it was fun. I kind of liked it. I thought it was an interesting way to go with the story, with the kind of blend of humor and kind of alterations there. And so I'm on board with it. I liked, I like Kenneth Branagh as Poirot, and so I would like to see him again. I think it's a good thing that they're doing like a completely new ensemble cast in a completely new story. Again, like you said, based on Agatha Christie's novels, and there's so many Poirot novels. There's like 20, 25 novels plus short stories and stuff. So there's plenty of material that they could use for these types of movies. So I'm looking forward to it. We didn't get too much on the story, but for a murder mystery, you never really get too much up front in the trailers anyway, which for good reason. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been on my kind of anticipated list, not super high up, but kind of mildly since it was announced. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Colin, what did you think of the trailer, man?
Yeah, it looked fine. Kenneth Branagh, the last film that he directed was Artemis Fowl. So
my goodness.
hopefully he can bounce back.
He can only go up from that. So
I don't see how you get there's not much worse, but there really isn't. So no, I'm like just being serious, like there legit isn't. So yeah, he we'll see. I mean, we're waiting on the battle. What's it called again? Orient Express. I'm like.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express. I was like blanking on it for a second. Yeah, kind of has those similar vibes, like the Whodunit, like we saw Knives Out last year too. Kind of those Whodunit murder mysteries. Gal Gadot, my girl, she's gonna be in the movie. Yeah,
I love her.
My celebrity crush. Yeah, who doesn't love?
Who doesn't love one?
She's amazing. She's amazing. And I'm so glad she's getting something outside Fast and Furious or Wonder Woman. Like seriously, she's awesome. Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. We'll see. He's kind of up and down director for me, but interesting that he'll get a chance to kind of bounce back, hopefully. Yeah, I'm mildly looking forward to it. It was okay.
Yeah, same with Kenneth Branagh. He needs that bounce back for sure after Artemis. Oh my God, Foul. I forget he directed that. So for Murder on the Orient Express, I was really looking forward to seeing it. It got a great cast involved in there. I left underwhelmed, man. I was really disappointed by that movie. Haven't revisited since. I didn't like the ending at all. And it had an all-star cast in there. And then I saw Knives Out last year and thought, this is what Murder on the Orient Express should have been. This movie was so bloated, so awesome, and I just love Knives Out. I'm looking forward to the sequel for it. And with Death on the Nile, it looked really interesting. It looked really cool. It's got the Egypt vibes and the African vibes in there. Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer, Letitia Wright, Shuri. It's got a great cast in there, too. So I'm always in for whodunit murder mysteries as well. Agatha Christie looks really awesome with the cinematography and the mystery. Who's going to commit the murder? So I enjoyed the trailer. So it got me interested, and I hope it's not as disappointing as Murder on the Orient Express.
Or Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on the trailer for Death on the Nile. And I think that's going to do it for the movie news. Yeah, there was a lot. I'm looking forward to all those pieces of things we have coming out. So now that we talked about the movie news, guys, let's get right into the Culture Project. So this is the first of our segments we do every single week, Alyssa. So Culture Project, a couple weeks ago, we pick movies for us to watch for the very first time. Normally, if there's like a big classic movie we haven't seen, we usually pick movies there. Or if it's like a genre we're not as strong in or haven't seen a lot of movies in, then we pick a movie there. So a couple weeks ago, I picked for Colin to watch Alien. So he has not seen Alien. Now he has. I picked that for him.
I have watched it. I'm in a world where Colin Williams has seen Alien. We now live in a world where that exists.
And Colin picked for me to watch Dope.
It's a great movie.
Dope.
I remember one time, actually, funny story about Dope real quick before we start. I remember I bought my buddy the Blu-ray for his birthday one time, and I said, "Oh yeah, your present's dope." Like telling him like it's dope, like it's cool. But I like basically told him, and he opened it and he was like, "Oh, it's legit dope. Like it's literally dope." I just did a little pun. It was a dad joke. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll give our quick thoughts on those movies, and then we'll pick our next movie. So Colin, I gotta hear your thoughts on Alien first.
I gotta go first. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, 1979 horror movie. If you don't know, Alyssa, I'm not the biggest horror guy, and that's all Ryan's given me. What did I watch? I watched The Shining. I watched Get Out. Anything else I watched? Would you?
I think those are the only ones so far.
I love The Shining and I love Get Out. Right. So those are, were so far so good. Out of all the ones the horror movies seen, I think this is probably my least favorite that you've shown me. I liked Get Out and The Shining definitely more. But the direction really fantastic by Ridley Scott.
It's fantastic.
The establishing shots of just the cinematography, the color grading, the look of it all, the parts where it is scary, definitely exciting. Wasn't as scary as I was kind of hoping. Probably I wasn't like I was expecting it to be a little bit more scary, but it was still like exciting when things were happening. And then I think the final like third act of the movie with Sigourney Weaver's character and kind of like her journey
Ripley.
towards the end.
Love her.
Really good stuff. I'm gonna be honest though, the first 35 minutes I was actually kind of bored, and I think it was because a lot of it you're establishing the shots of the locations and the ship that they're on and everything. And I didn't really. I'm more of a story guy. I think I've established that with movies like Extraction or Mad Max or something like that. My one exception is Fast and Furious. That's where my guilty pleasure lies because I don't care about the story there. But I'm a story guy, and not that the story is not great here. It's a good story, and I'm a character guy. And outside of Ripley, I didn't really connect to too much of the characters. So even when we're meandering, not really necessarily meandering, but it was those first 35 minutes or maybe even longer, more like 45. Until we got like that first like alien reveal, I was a little bit like, all right, let's get this going, because I wasn't really interested in, okay, like how many shots can we see of the planet that they're on or the ship and then the computer in it. And Ridley Scott did a great job of like meticulous in how he planned it, and each shot was beautiful and technically like perfect in its own right. And I could definitely see why this was just a technical like masterpiece back in the day and stuff, and it still holds up. And what they did so well is they didn't really show a whole lot of the aliens because the technology wasn't really up to par. If I had to make a prediction, I'm gonna almost bet I'm gonna like Aliens more, just because I hear it's more of an action type movie.
It's completely different.
Just from what you're saying, I was thinking that before you said it. I was gonna say you're gonna like Aliens.
Yeah, so
it's completely different. Yeah.
So yeah, I think my dad told me, he was like, yeah, Aliens is way better. And I know you feel differently, right? And it's a big debate. It's fine. But
there's no right or wrong answer.
And he told me, he's like, yeah, it's definitely more of like the action horror movie, like action sci-fi movie. And I think that's where I think I'm more leaning towards. If I'm being honest, I definitely don't like it as a lot of people. The Alien, I respect it more than I enjoyed it. And I think what it did the best is I think it intrigued me to see Aliens, because I'm almost guaranteed to like it more, because I just think it was kind of slow, if I'm being honest, until like that third act. I think those first 45 minutes, I was kind of I'm not really connected with the characters, where it was literally like it was just like, here's the planet, here's this. Oh, we're searching here with flashlights. We're searching here with flashlights. Oh, we're inside searching. Oh, now we're looking at this alien. Oh, now this alien came out of this person's body. And it's like, it felt a little bit like, I just wanted like kind of like a roller coaster ride of an action movie, like what we would probably get in Aliens. So if you could recommend that movie, like maybe a couple weeks down the road, I would be open to seeing that one, or I'll probably watch it on my own. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. I mean, Alien is a straight up horror movie. Aliens is more the action sci-fi horror.
I wasn't super scared. I wasn't super scared though. Like
I'm always surprised by the fact that it gets classified as a horror movie. Like I have never considered Alien a horror movie. It's always been kind of straight sci-fi to me.
I was way more scared.
More sci-fi drama than anything else.
In The Shining and in Get Out, I was
sci-fi thriller.
Get Out I think was just so creative, and The Shining was just so amazing too. And I thought, like, out of the 3 horror movies that you've recommended, I think this is my least favorite. I'll go Get Out, then The Shining, and then this. I'm glad I'm getting the horror movies, because it's like, getting me to expand kind of my genres and like watching more of those stuff. So yeah.
I mean, Aliens like the Jaws effect. I mean, what's your definition of horror? I mean, it's got the alien vibes in there. It's got the blood. I mean, I find it more sci-fi as well, but I can see the horror elements thrown in there with certain parts, like the chest burster scene. I mean, there's a lot of history in that, Colin. Did you watch a lot of the history of that chest burster scene?
No.
The actors had no idea that was going to happen, and I think that's the best. Cool. That's the best part about this movie, in my personal opinion, is that I love this is the tagline in space. No one can hear you scream. I mean, I think that's a great.
I'm actually a little surprised, knowing your movie taste, that you prefer this over the first. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen Aliens, but like I know you're a big action movie guy. I'm surprised you like this one more because it's more of a slow burn. It really is.
I love certain slow burns, and Aliens one of them for me. I love the Nostromo. I mean, the ship is just one of the more iconic ships in movie history, and I love just the crew. Dallas, Parker, Ash, and Ripley. I mean, all these characters, they have motivations to be there, and just all these characters were very interesting to me.
Can't forget the cat.
And the cat too. I mean, my goodness.
I can't remember his name. I don't know if it's his name.
Yeah, someone will let us know in the comments.
That was a good scene. I love the design of the aliens too.
Xenomorph, yeah.
I will say though, I think because it was, I think we talked about this. I think maybe even on the podcast a couple weeks ago. It was like, what's more important if the movie ends strong or starts strong? I think it's kind of I think it's tough to say in certain aspects, but I think this movie, if it would have started better, I probably would have liked it more because I think it established everything nicely, and I think the direction was good. I just think it took a little bit for me to like the first time you saw the alien is when I started caring, and that was 45 minutes in the movie or whatever, 35 minutes in the movie. So it took a good bit of the movie, 30% of the film, until I actually gave a crap about what was happening, and I think it kind of took a little bit to recover from that. Whereas if I'm hooked right away, what's like Get Out or Shining Out, like the opening scene for The Shining, I was like, okay, I'm gonna love this movie because
so
this, yeah. Go ahead.
So that makes me interested. Have you seen Jaws, Colin?
Yeah, I love Jaws.
So that one, I mean, you don't actually see the shark until almost the very end. But I'm curious if that.
I cared about the characters way more. Mm-hmm. They're like the cop.
Brody.
Brody, everybody.
Brody.
Brody's the man, and I love the political intrigue of the Jaws movies and how like there's a debate. It's like, okay, it's summer, we're a tourist location. We can't have people knowing that there's shark attacks or else we're going to lose money. So and you get that point, like, okay, you're maybe lying, but you understand where they're coming from a certain perspective, and then you want like this cop who's not from here and he's scared of the ocean. And the only character I ever cared about was Sigourney Weaver character, Ripley, and that was in the end. And I thought she was almost kind of annoying in the beginning because she's like, oh, quarantine and all this stuff. I was like, man, let the guy damn through. But then you realize she was right. But in the beginning, I wasn't tracking with her until the end, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and Ash, I'm always fascinated with Ash as a character, and him with the android reveal, I examine that whole entire movie every time from his perspective. If you rewatch it, he's involved.
That was a shocker for sure. I'll give it a B-. It was okay. It was good. It was well made.
Oh yeah, I gave it an A+. It's it's one of my my favorite movies of all time.
I'm really glad I watched it. I'm really glad I watched it because now
I'm glad too. Yeah, I think you will like Aliens more, if I'm being honest.
I think I'll be the Aliens guy for sure.
Yeah. Alyssa, your overall thoughts too?
On Alien, I like it. I'm kind of. I think I'm closer to Colin than to you in the sense that it's not my favorite. I enjoy it. I think I like it a little bit more than Colin does, but I would probably, I don't know, I don't rate on letters, but I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. But I don't know. I've always enjoyed it, but I agree that it is definitely a slow burn and it takes a while. And it's one that I've grown to like more as I rewatch it. It's one of those movies that the first time I watched, I was kind of like, I was kind of underwhelmed by it.
That's what I feel like.
Part of that, I think, is just because it's this
hype.
kind of, I mean, it's this kind of like.
Alyssa, I don't think you know this. I'm cursed. When it comes to movies that are classics and are hyped up from me, it's almost impossible for me to like them. It's impossible. I watched Casablanca the other day, and I was like, "What are people seeing this movie?" Right? But everyone loves it. But like with me, it's like I'm legit. Like if people hype up a movie, it's just hard for me to like because I'm like sky high expectations. So if it falls any sort of short to that, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. I feel the same way about a lot of this.
Yeah, so a lot of like Casablanca, I wanted to like it so much, and I was heard like the week before that Ryan recommended to me from our guest Dave Lee saying it was like the greatest movie ever, it's a perfect movie, and I was like, okay, this better be the greatest movie I've ever seen, and it wasn't, so I was disappointed. Like,
And that's fine. Film is subjective. Everyone has different tastes with movies. And, Colin, well, I disagree with a lot of your opinions. It's your opinion. Film is subjective. That's what 2020 is. Everyone has their own opinions. So let's talk about Dope.
Okay.
Dope came out in 2015, directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Did I say his last name right? He directed 2 Mandalorian episodes.
Some good ones, too.
The Child and episode 6, one of my least favorites. But good director. He was going to direct the Flash movie. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he stepped out. Now we have Andy Muschietti. So Dope. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed the movie. My issues with Dope are kind of like you, Colin. The first half of the movie, I wasn't as interested as I was the last half. Love Shamik more. He's fantastic in there. I could see why he got Miles Morales the role in there. Zoe Kravitz might have been my favorite part. Now she's Catwoman. I loved her in there. I loved the relationship between her and Shamik Moore in the movie.
Flash Thompson's in it too.
Yeah, Flash Thompson, Tony Revolori, really liked him in Grand Budapest Hotel as well. The movie, it went in a direction I wasn't completely expecting. Well, the title's called Dope, so it's basically a kid carrying a backpack full of dope after an incident that happened. So it went in a direction I wasn't expecting. I wasn't as invested with the first half of the movie. While there was a lot of sequences with these characters, they're carrying around a backpack full of dope and they have no idea what to do with it. And they were going to different types of people, and then they have to sell the dope eventually. I think where I got hooked with the movie was in the second half. Once he meets that Harvard guy or something. Once that happens, that's where I was getting really invested with the movie. Lakeith Stanfield, I had no idea he was in this movie. He's in a lot of movies. I thought I wanted to see more of him. I was invested with him. It was just really interesting the last half of the movie with Shamik Moore's character and his relationship with his friends too. That's one of the best parts of the movie, and it's got a great message in there. And with his Harvard the video that he made trying to get into Harvard, that's one of the best scenes in the movie. I really enjoyed it, man. I didn't love it as much as other people, but I was glad I finally checked it out because I wanted to check it out for a while.
That's interesting that you said. Well, first of all, this was an interesting pick because usually, Alyssa, when we pick movies for each other, if I recommend a movie to Ryan or vice versa, we think that movie's a masterpiece. Like I recommended a bunch of movies. Okay, this movie's a masterpiece. This is whatever. This movie, I said, hey, this has flaws. Like I have problems with this movie too, but I think it's such a unique coming of age movie that I think everyone needs to see it. And what's funny, Ryan, is actually I think I prefer the first half over the second half. I think where my problems lies is in that second half, which is interesting. That first one where you establish that these kids are like 90s hip hop. I'm a 90s hip hop nerd. I love 90s hip hop. Like that's probably like one of my favorite genres of music. Like so I really related to that song that they play. They're like with the bass, no 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 no. He's like they're like
I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that, but I wasn't getting as invested with it. I kind of felt like I was watching mid 90s again. But it's not bad. It's like it wasn't bad, but just I wasn't as invested with the stories. I thought like, oh, once he gets the bag of dope, I'm like, what is he going to do with it now? And he's just going to different types of people, and I'm like, I'm not invested yet. But then
that's interesting. I remember when I was doing it. When I recently rewatched it, I really liked the parts where they would like the narrator would say like they like white people shit, including like Childish Gambino and skateboards and stuff, and like they were like almost, and like this is an offensive term, but they would be like Uncle Tom, so to speak. I hate that term, but like that's what the movie was saying that they kind of were, and they're really not. They embrace their culture, but like how they were painted in that movie, and they were just so different as kids who were people of color who had a punk rock band, but then still like 90s hip hop, and this kid that wants to go to Harvard. It's just like you don't see anything like that. It's like these characters are almost so overtly unique we've never seen a person like this in our life. I can't think of a person I went to high school with that was that guy. That I think that is almost a double-edged sword because it becomes like the biggest uniqueness to the story, but then it's almost so unbelievable. It's like there's no one that exists like this who listens to 90s hip hop and is a punk. Look, also has a punk band, and then he's like this super smart kid, but then he's dealing dope or whatever.
And dealing dope,
It was so interesting of a story that you can forgive it. A$AP Rocky, who's a really great rapper today, he was the guy that he met that gave him the dope. I don't know if you knew that.
That got arrested?
The one that got arrested, yeah, that was A$AP Rocky. He's like a really famous rapper now. So that's interesting, though. The first half with the narration and introducing you to these characters are great. Alyssa, have you seen this movie?
Yeah, I have. Not in a while. I think probably 2, 3, 4 years ago was the last time I saw it. But I missed it in theaters. But when it came out, I didn't really know anything about it. Wasn't really that interested in it. And this was one that I actually kind of randomly caught because it was back my ex-boyfriend's roommate was watching it one time and like he had just started playing the movie when we were like headed out to go someplace, and we like stopped to like put our shoes on, and then we just got invested in the movie. Didn't even know what it was until the end when the roommate told us what movie it was, but we just like sat down and watched through it, and I was really surprised by it because I had known the name, like I was aware of the movie but didn't know anything about it. And so when I found out that the movie we had just watched was dope, I was like, oh, no way. And I got the Blu-ray right after that.
Funny too. That's what's cool. It's a funny movie. That's actually, what would be your grade, Ryan?
My grade, I'd probably go B-, same as you with Alien. I enjoyed it. I'll probably watch it again in the future. I mean, it's not that rewatchable for me, but I enjoyed it.
Cool.
All right. So, culture project for next week. Trying to think of a movie to watch for you, Colin.
I can pick one. I got a pick for you if you.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. I'm an English teacher. I love coming of age movies, but this one's definitely got that. Just it's an amazing movie. Dead Poet Society. I think you got to see that movie, dude. You can't.
Oh yeah. I have not seen that movie. Yeah,
you got to see that movie. You can't go through life without seeing that film. Really amazing movie. I think you'll love it. Honestly, I don't know anybody who doesn't love that movie. Do you know anybody, Alyssa, that doesn't love? No. That movie's amazing. It's a great movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It's stuff. Another one. It's another one I haven't seen in a while, but yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think I actually haven't visited in a little bit too, so I think I might watch it this week with Ryan. Because usually I have stuff to say when he's reviewing the movie too. Mm-hmm. So Ryan, what's your pick for me?
I think you posted on an Instagram story saying you haven't seen a movie, but man, I'm trying to pick something.
What did I say that on my Instagram story that I haven't seen? I'm trying to think. I haven't seen. Look at my letterbox thing I sent you. Go on my letterbox and look at my watch list.
I was.
What? Okay, so while you're looking at, go on my letterbox, go on my watch list.
Yeah, I'll go check that.
And then I'll talk to Alyssa. Alyssa, what are some movies that have been on your watch list that you've been wanting to check out? Some classic movies that you haven't seen yet. While Ryan's looking at my
So probably my biggest one, or probably the one that's the most popular. That's kind of a blind spot right now. That I have no excuse as to why I haven't seen it. Just haven't.
No excuses.
Is Goodfellas. I have not seen Goodfellas.
Yeah, you gotta watch that. That's our culture project for you. It's on Netflix, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I mean, I'm like a Blu-ray collector. There, I know you guys can only see like a little bit, but they're all the way around the room. And I don't know why I haven't ever watched that one. It's one I need to at some point. I don't know what other ones are.
Yeah.
Big Ryan's got one for you.
Oh, God. Die Hard, dude. You have not seen Die Hard?
No, I haven't seen Die Hard.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I actually only just watched the whole Die Hard series this December, so don't feel too bad.
Is that the first thing that you popped up on my watch list on Letterboxd?
Yeah, I saw like no, I was looking at it like, you have not seen Die Hard? Yeah. So.
No, okay, first of all, I've seen the first like 20 minutes of Die Hard.
Oh yeah, when he's on the
so
plane,
I know the whole like premise. Guy barefoot, taking out terrorists on Christmas. I know the movie.
So
good villain.
Yeah. So yeah, my pick for you is Die Hard.
What did I say? Dead Poet Society. All right, we'll recap.
Dead Poet Society. Okay. All right. So that is our culture project for this week. All right. Now let's go into what's next on the docket. Answering questions. All right, fan submitted questions is up next. All right, we ask you guys every week to post questions, and you guys sent us some good ones. All right, we're going to start with Twitter. First one coming from Adam Daly. What film has made you question your worldview on or personal beliefs, and vice versa? Which films has strengthened?
That's a great question.
That's a great question, Adam.
That's
Okay,
really
I'm gonna be honest here. I'm like my political views are kind of more like libertarian. Like I don't like the government. Like that's kind of like my personal beliefs. So, but one that has questioned it is like a good example. And I'm a big believer in like capitalism, free market, lower taxes, that type of stuff. But the Founder with Michael Keaton is kind of an indictment on the system that you can manipulate your way through stealing basically someone's own company, and that's a loophole in, I guess, the American economy. Or the system that's run. So I think that was like, maybe there's a little bit more restriction and government regulation that we could impose. And this is a person that doesn't like government regulation and stuff. So that was an interesting one. But I think I can't think of one that reaffirmed my position on stuff like that. Maybe it's something like The Hunger Games. Or something like that. Some of those movies where it's like big government like taking over or something like. All right, yeah, I think that like confirms like. What kind of world we'd live in if, they were too powerful.
Oh, I hate to bring them up again. The Planet of the Apes movies. Somehow we can look at
You're
really
obsessed, man.
how we can look at really bad humans, like higher governments, but we can understand why we feel the way they feel, like in War for the Planet of the Apes, Woody Harrelson's character. Son because he was infected, and why, spoiler alert, he kills Caesar's son in the movie. It questions humans at some points why they can go to extreme lengths to want to kill animals. But I mean, it didn't really change my view, and it just made me question why they would do that.
What's one that made you change your views, though?
There hasn't been one that changed my views, but that's one I could think of off the top of my head. Alyssa, could you think of any?
Oh man, I mean, it's such a deep question. I feel like that's one I wish I knew in advance, so I could think. Like I don't know. I'm not great at like coming up with like deep stuff like that off the top of my head. So I don't know if I could really give anything that would be a good answer at this point, because I don't know. I'm like looking at my movies. I'm like, which of these can I pick? Like I don't know. I know there are movies that I'm sure have had both impacts on me. I just like
American Psycho too. American Psycho is one that kind of questions some things too about like the American culture and like.
What about Joker? Joker?
Nah, not for me. No, not for me. It didn't change anything for me. Like it was a good movie, but
no. So that's a really deep question, Adam. But thank you for asking that, man. Jared Buckendahl just asked a really funny question here for Alyssa. Have you ever met Pennywise, and do the movies or book famish his image?
Yeah, I see him every now and then. Yeah, he's a good guy. No, but I haven't met him, but I have passed by Stephen King. I have seen him like in person out in the wild before, but not Pennywise. But I have been to the drain, the storm drain where Pennywise was like originated, the one that was the drain that Stephen King based the story off of. So
hey Georgie.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's nothing like what is in the movies. It's not one of those side storm drains that's like under a curb. It's like just one of the storm drains that's just in the middle of the road. So it's just a grate over top of it. So it's a very different thing than what people always imagine it. But it's right on the corner of Jackson Street in Bangor. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, Pennywise, he's all right.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. Misunderstood.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Papayas and Peas on YouTube. Who is more important when it comes to filmmaking, the screenwriter or the director? I mean, both, really.
But yeah, we just talked about. I mean, you can't do without both. I think the directing's probably the most important because they're like they're like the coach of the football team essentially. It's literally everything goes through the director. But like we just talked about, Booksmart and Extraction, or at least I just talked about, those are well-directed movies that I don't think are very good because the writing's not great. You know what I mean? So, and because I'm a character guy, I'm a story guy, that's what I connect to. Those are all script things. So those are really important as well.
Yeah, same. I mean, they're both really important. The director is the leader. The coach, he gets all the stuff. They tell the screenwriters basically their vision. The screenwriters write them. And the script is really important to every single movie. So both are really important, but the director is the one that actually leads the project. So
yeah, and the script starts at one place, and the director can cut stuff out that the writer doesn't want, right? Like, or the writer does want. Like
the director doesn't want.
Yeah. They're the last thing you see. It's like when you're at a restaurant. We used to have this position when I worked in the restaurant business called Expo. They were the ones that put the butter on the steak and the sour cream on the mashed potato. Like they're the last thing that they see before the writers are like the person that grabs the plate. Like that's they started. Alyssa.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You can't have. There are very few movies that can succeed without a at least decent script. I mean, we were just talking about with the New Mutants earlier that there are script issues, and that caused bigger issues for the movie. But I think I gotta agree with you guys that the director is the one who kind of has that final, or typically has kind of the final say and final control over it. So, I mean, a director could take a mediocre script and turn it into an okay project, or a director could destroy a script and totally mess up the whole thing. I think director has a bigger hand in it, but whether their importance to the overall project beyond their ability to make all these changes is more than a scriptwriter, I don't know. But both, I think, are fairly equally important. There's so many people involved with movies. It's insane, and they all have a hand in the final creation and outcome.
Yeah, 100% agree, guys. Zachary on YouTube, what is one movie that when announced you thought it sounded bad, but with the trailer, news, and casting, you got more excited for the film? For him, it was Joker. I mean, I think I do have an automatic answer for this. It's Get Out. I was not looking forward to that movie at all. I thought it looked terrible, but Jordan Peele was directing it, and I thought this was an interesting direction. Jordan Peele is from Key and Peele. He was doing a horror movie. It had Daniel Kaluuya in it. I really only knew him from Sicario then. So when I saw the trailer, I thought it looked awful. But then I saw the movie. I'm like, holy shit, this movie's awesome. But basically, yeah, the movie was just so good, man. After I saw that trailer, I was like, thank goodness I actually saw the movie because the trailer wasn't the best for me. But, some of the casting sounded really interesting, but the movie was actually way better than the trailers. So, Colin, could you think of one?
The one that, a couple this year, just some recency stuff. I can't think of like the best example, but Sonic the Hedgehog and Birds of Prey, I thought were both terrible ideas, and I enjoyed both those movies. I love Birds of Prey. I really enjoyed Sonic. So yeah, those are my two picks. Yeah,
Alyssa?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something more in the past, but actually with Colin saying Sonic, that's like a perfect example. Even with the revised Sonic trailer, I was still kind of like about it, but I actually liked that movie. Like, it was much better than I anticipated it being.
Yeah, much better. Probably the surprise
I guess maybe an older one. It's been so long since I saw the trailer, but I remember not being super excited for the first John Wick. More from a story perspective.
That's understandable.
The action seemed interesting, but I wasn't like really excited for it. But that movie was great, even back then, And so I don't know. It's been a long time since I saw that trailer, though, so I could be misremembering how I felt about it. But I remember kind of being very surprised by the film when I finally saw it.
Another one, Edge of Tomorrow. Wasn't excited going in. Saw the trailer. It looked like shit. And then I saw the movie. It was freaking awesome.
The 21 Jump Street, that looked kind of like a dumb idea. And then the movie came and you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Another one, Little Women. I thought the trailers looked fine. And I like Greta Gerwig. I like the cast. I was a big fan of Lady Bird, but it's just like not my thing. It wasn't at the time, but apparently it is now. Period pieces with an all-woman cast, just like that doesn't sound like anything that I would ever enjoy. And then it was my favorite movie last year. You know what I mean? So it's just like I mean that movie is like legit like a masterpiece. And then of course Portrait of a Lady on Fire too. I was like, oh my god, like this is becoming a genre I like now. So
yeah. So yeah, those are some good examples. Dick Dastardly, most overrated and underrated David Fincher movie. I think underrated is definitely Zodiac. I think more people should haven't even seen it, like me, or aren't saying the best.
That was a culture project for Ryan.
Or saying it's not one of the best Fincher movies. When you think David Fincher, people say Fight Club and Seven and Gone Girl, but I think Zodiac should be in that conversation. For overrated, I really can't pick one because I love pretty much all of David Fincher's movies, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Fincher's my favorite director. This like question for me. I feel like yeah. I mean, underrated. See, I view Zodiac really highly. I know some people don't, so maybe that's his most underrated. But like legit, like one that is underappreciated critically and not enough people talk about it. The Game. I mean, that movie.
Oh, The Game, yeah,
unbelievable. And Panic Room. Have you seen Panic Room? Have you guys seen Panic Room?
Yeah, I love Panic Room.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen Panic Room. That's one of the two.
That's a great movie, dude. Panic Room is amazing. That movie's really underrated. So if I'm actually honestly by default, I might go Fight Club for overrated because the only reason why I say that is because I would say Fight Club is his most like well-known movie for sure. That's like the movie he's known for. But I would say The Social Network, Seven, Zodiac, and Gone Girl are all better. You know what I mean? And heck, I might even like The Game more. So Fight Club, if it's his most like crown jewel, for so speaking, it's like my 5th or 6th favorite David Fincher movie. And by the way, it's an amazing movie. Then by default, I guess this is most overrated for me personally. And I think people misinterpret that movie a lot. They love it because, like, bro, these people are fighting. Like Fight Club is so cool. It's like that's not
even the movie.
Like, so I think it's a little bit. Maybe even as the David Fincher fanboy, I can't believe I'm even saying this. Maybe it's a tad overhyped, even though it's an amazing movie.
I love Fight Club.
No, I'm just saying it's overhyped compared to his other works. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like, dude, he's got better movies. So,
yeah, I think it is a little better than Gone Girl, but yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah,
Alyssa.
So for my most underrated, definitely Panic Room.
Panic Room's amazing.
There we are.
Panic Room.
So that's one that I'm annoyed that it's still only on DVD, that there has not been a Blu-ray release yet. It drives me nuts. Like, I don't understand. But definitely Panic Room being the most underrated. Though I do love Zodiac too. Zodiac might be my favorite Fincher movie. So I'm always in promotion of that one when I can be. But Panic Room definitely is one that I always really enjoyed.
He did something truly special with Zodiac. You're right, though. He really did.
So freaking good.
And same thing with what you guys were saying. Like, I like all of his movies except maybe Alien 3.
That doesn't count.
So like, I think people misinterpret what like overrated means. Because overrated doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means people have a tendency to view it more highly than maybe is deserved. And so it's tough. I think I'd probably lean towards Fight Club for that as well, but I love the movie. Maybe The Social Network, probably one of the two, between one of those two.
See, that's where I would
say is most overrated.
The Social Network's my favorite.
But I wouldn't, I don't view overrated as necessarily a bad thing, especially in this case, since I do genuinely really enjoy both of these movies I just said, including Planet of the Apes, Ryan. I'd like that one too. Overrated.
Or maybe Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I don't know.
But so I don't know. It's tough, but I guess probably one of those two. But definitely Panic Room for underrated.
That movie's great. So good. It's I think the one Fincher movie that's like a movie, not a film. Like it's like just straight up like this is it. Like I'm not getting super deep here. Boom, thriller. We're done. Like if that makes sense. He just
definitely just like a genre movie, and it's
genre movie. Just had fun with it, and then with the David Fincher flair to it, which
Last question from Ted Mosby: is Tarantino a better writer or director? I'm gonna go better writer.
Yeah, same, honestly.
Yeah.
He's a great director, like one of the best. The best part of those movies is his writing, though. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely no debate. It's his writing. I mean, Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards. He's written so many amazing movies, and all these Oscars, these couple Oscars he's won. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Say what you will, Colin, but the script is great. If he wrote movies for the rest of his life, I would be so down to watch them. I think he is a better writer than director. Fantastic director all around. Just with his writing, it's his golden. It's his best thing that he's known for. Yeah. I think you guys pretty much agree, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for the questions. In all honesty, for fan submitted questions, we ask you guys every week, and you guys bring us some great questions. We appreciate it. So now let's get to the top 5, guys. So with New Mutants out in theaters this week, Colin actually brought up the idea. Why not do our top 5 favorite X-Men movie moments, like favorite moments from each of the X-Men movies? So I picked 5 ones I love. Colin picked 5 he loved, and Alyssa picked 5 she loved. So basically, we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll have Alyssa go first, and since she is the guest. So Alyssa, what's your number 5?
So I don't know if I really have them ranked necessarily. And are we including Deadpool in this or no?
I included Logan and Deadpool. Yeah.
Okay. I don't it's hard. Like I don't necessarily have them ranked. I guess these are just 5 that I like. And some of these movies I also haven't. It's been a number of years since I saw some of these, but I guess one of the top ones would probably be if we're including Deadpool and Logan, probably that scene with Logan in the woods when he's just going like all out on everybody, running through. That's a good one. So somewhere in my top 5.
Oh, that 4 scene. Oh man, so great, so great.
Chills.
Well, Colin.
Hot take: the Logan death was more emotionally impactful than Iron Man's death. All right, moving on. It just
both, man.
No, they both were heartbreaking, man. I think Logan actually did it better, but what were we talking about? Oh yeah, X-Men. The number 5 for me is I'm gonna do the little speech that Magneto gives in X-Men: Days of Future Past. Got all the cameras facing towards him.
Yeah, that's on my
epic
list.
Epic moment.
Oh man, that's on my list. You guys know I love Magneto. I freaking love Magneto.
Michael Fassbender is the man, dude. He's the man.
I prefer him over a little bit to Ian McKellen. That's just my opinion. All right, number 5 for me, the White House scene. Nightcrawler X2. I mean, this is one of my favorite moments. What a way to open X2. I mean, Nightcrawler, just a mutant we haven't seen before, and he's just taking out all these White House people left, right, and center, and then he just leaves the message, mutant freedom now. Just, oh, man. Love that opening to X2.
Great.
Alyssa, what's yours?
So again, just kind of pulling from him. But I've always liked the scene, a Magneto scene when he just like the blood thing when he's escaping from the prison, and from the cell. It's just I always enjoyed that one in what was it, X2?
X2, Ian McKellen. Yeah, I love that.
And so that was one that I always enjoyed.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Colin.
This is I might get a little hate for this, but I think the train sequence in Dark Phoenix is amazing. It's not a don't give me that look, son. Man. Come on.
No.
But for the movie isn't great. First of all, it's not horrible. The people that think that movie's bad is like I genuinely didn't understand that. It's not a great movie, but I think that train sequence. If we're just talking about like action sequences or moments. I would take aside from the movie. I think it's unbelievable, so exciting, and it's so great. And I believe Hans Zimmer did the score, which is fantastic in the entire movie. But then that sequence, so putting the actual movie aside, which is lower tier X-Men, that moment is fantastic.
All right, I disagree, but okay.
Dude, you can't say it's not a good scene just because you're just looking at the movie. It's a good scene. It's a good scene.
I found it very forgettable. Number 4, not awful, just forgettable. My number 4 is Magneto's White House scene in Days of Future Past. Just when he has all the cameras on him, saying, "Mutants, let's unite together." Just, oh man, Michael Fassbender just owns the role of Magneto. Just the whole White House and everything. I love Days of Future Past, by the way. I love that movie.
Yeah.
All right, Alyssa, What's your next one?
So it's hard because we're gonna start overlapping here, but your number 5, the White House Nightcrawler scene. I always like that one. So I feel bad now. I'm just copying things, but that was on my list
Yeah,
here.
that's my number 3 as well. Is the White House scene as well. So there we go. We've all listed that one, which is kind of obvious. That one's great. So that's my number 3.
Yeah, my number 3 probably would be higher on your guys' list. Quicksilver's running scenes in both Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. I mean, Quicksilver, this was a character coming off. Just we had no idea about him pretty much. This was before Age of Ultron. We thought, Quicksilver, who's this guy? And he stole the whole entire show in Days of Future Past with the line time in a bottle. And he just runs around, takes all those guys out. It's fantastic. And then in Apocalypse as well, just this tree things is made of. It's just, I love those Quicksilver scenes. They're very entertaining.
Who's next?
Alyssa?
I mean, yeah, I might as well say it too, rather than just saving it. The Quicksilver, especially in Days of Future Past, is probably my favorite Quicksilver scene. I gotta say, I was really disappointed we didn't get a good Quicksilver scene in Dark Phoenix. That was probably one of the things. I mean, we sort of got a little bit, but we didn't have the music and stuff. But yeah, so Quicksilver has always been.
Maybe we'll in WandaVision. We'll see. Yeah, Colin.
Oh yeah, my number 2 is also the Quicksilver scene. It's funny how we ranked it to where it would all be in a row because it's number 2 on my list. So yeah, it's great. The music's great. It's fun. It's energetic. It's so well. It's so way better than what the Justice League gave us with Flash. Like they was like, oh my god, this is so lame compared to what we got in Quicksilver. Both times the Apocalypse, that movie sucks. But yes, Dark Phoenix is better than Apocalypse. Fight me.
I disagree. I love Apocalypse, dude. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Apocalypse. Learn. Just touches the TV.
Learning.
It's so bad, bro. That movie's so bad. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like all the X-Men movies are kind of watchable, so maybe it's okay. But yeah, so that seems great.
Yeah, I enjoyed Apocalypse. I think that movie gets too much hate. Number 2 for me, I love First Class. That's one of my favorite comic book movies. The beach scene, everything on the beach. Yeah. Magneto killing Kevin Bacon with the coin. Oh my
Cuban
god.
Missile Crisis.
The Cuban Missile Crisis. Magneto stopping the bullets, and just that whole beach scene in First Class is phenomenal.
That's how Xavier got crippled too.
And it's my second favorite X-Men movie behind Logan. So. Alyssa, what's your number?
So I was trying to mix him up so I wasn't just repeating you, but yeah, that's I can't even say it. That's what I had on my list as well as one of these top 5s. The beach scene. I agree. I like First Class. I really like the kind of the young versions having the new team, and then just that scene is really pretty grand scale for that movie. And yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think I do like the Quicksilver scene a little bit more. It's more fun, whereas that one's more impactful. But yeah. And
it's just great. It's a prequel. Professor X losing his legs. Just a powerful moment for me. I really enjoyed it. Colin?
My number 1 is not the Logan fight sequence, it's his death.
That's my number 1 as well.
I mean, can I just say, Logan, actually, at the time I saw Logan, I don't even know if I had seen all the X-Men movies. I definitely did when I was younger. I kind of saw them, but I didn't remember really anything. So like the whole stuff where, the Days of Future Past, like I was kind of maybe when I saw the Days of Future Past or First Class, I was kind of confused. Like, what is this? It's like kind of like a soft reboot. I just didn't really care as much as I do now about like continuity and all that. So when I saw Logan, I don't even know if I was fully into the universe yet. And I liked Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and everything, but I think this movie just really like hit me at just right there, man. It got to me really so incredibly impactful. And like I said, I think it's because Marvel brings people back a lot. A lot of people die and come back to life. I just felt the finality of this scene and she was like, Daddy. I was like, oh my god. I was like crying. I didn't cry when Iron Man died, and I cried when Logan.
What? I did. I was
Iron Man. Like I said, I
didn't cry with either.
Well, you're heartless. No, I'm just kidding. Iron Man. The thing is like I felt like he was gonna come back, and I don't know. I think it's just the execution. I just think Logan did it better.
I think both deaths got me. I think Iron Man's death really got me, and both Wolverine. I mean, it's just the direction and how much I cared about both characters. Like I felt like a family member of mine died when Iron Man died, as well as Wolverine.
That's what's crazy is I wasn't connected to the characters Wolverine nearly as I was Iron Man. So the fact that I was more emotionally hit by it is James Mangold's amazing direction in that movie.
Which, by the way, I'm just offended that they did not get Oscar noms. Patrick Stewart made me bawl when he died as well, and Hugh Jackman, man. So that's what it feels. That's what it feels like. Oh man, where's the Oscars for?
And then they
movie?
made fun of it. I honestly don't like that they made fun of it in Deadpool 2. I didn't like that.
No, I didn't like the opening either. Well,
that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, if I'm being honest. And I'm not like one that gets offended, but I was like, just last year we're gonna make.
Alyssa, did you have another one, or did we
not really? I mean, I have other things I could come up with, but
all right. So that was our top 5 X-Men movie moments. So now, before we close out the show, let's get to the movie quote of the week. So, Colin, I'll let you get this one off.
Dude, this one's obvious. Also, I wanted to do real quick. I said I was a 90s rap fan. Got the Ice Cube shirt on, too. I just now noticed that.
Nice,
this one's obvious, man, with what happened. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Wakanda forever.
Oh, that's a great one, man. That's a great one. And I'll go with another Black Panther quote. I never freeze.
There we go.
That's mine. Alyssa?
Well, now I feel bad I didn't pick a Black Panther quote. But I'm going to go with a Bill and Ted quote, since that's a little topical as well. But I'll go with a Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey quote with, we got totally lied to by our albums, man. Album covers. When they go to hell. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Be excellent to each other and party on, dude. Yeah, so that's another good one. So yeah, guys, that is episode 23 of the Fallen for Film podcast, wrapped up in the books. This was a long one. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for joining us for episode 23. Guys, definitely go check out Alyssa's channel. Links in the description below to the Mainly movie. She's going to tell you about that right now, where you can follow her. And Alyssa, let us know what you have coming out on the channel.
Yeah, so coming up, I've got, oh man, what do I have? I just finished my James Bond franchise, so I'm a little
project.
Confused now because that's been an every Friday thing for me for like 8 months. So now I'm like, man, what do I have coming out? But I have, what do I have? So New Mutants coming Tuesday. Then I'll have Tenet. Assuming nothing goes wrong with going to see it, I'll have Tenet on Friday. I'll have Bill and Ted 3 probably the following week. Rankography. I've already done the other Bill and Ted movie reviews. And then I don't know. I'll probably do lead up for Murder on the Orient Express leading into Death on the Nile. I think I already made them. Might as well put them out. The Kingsman movies before that got pushed back again. So I'll probably have some Kingsman reviews coming your way as well. But people can find me at Mainly Movies. So that's Mainly with an E, like the state of Maine. Pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms.
Awesome. Definitely, guys, go check her out. YouTube channel link. She got a great channel. Colin, yes, before we close out episode 23, I want to get some quick announcements, what you got coming out on the channel and all that jazz.
Yeah, I'm going to see New Mutants probably tomorrow. Then I'll do like an X-Men ranking. I've been wanting to do a Star Wars ranking. I've just been really lazy. I want to do a Star Wars ranking really soon. And then Tenet and Nolan ranked. I saw the only Nolan movie I hadn't seen is The Prestige. Saw that yesterday at the time of recording this video. And it's going to be high up on the list, honestly. It's really good. Loved it. And then there's the only one I hadn't seen. I rewatched Following. I hadn't seen that movie in a while. And then I rewatched Inception yesterday with a buddy who had never seen it.
I rewatched Dunkirk last night. Still think it's overrated.
Oh, really? I'm actually probably going to watch Dunkirk tonight or tomorrow. Because I want to try and see if I can get that higher up on my list, because right now it's my least favorite Nolan movie. but I kind of don't want it to be because I don't want to get the backlash, but it's going to be.
I don't care, man. I don't get the. So yeah, same as these guys. I mean, I uploaded lots of videos. New Mutants, Bill and Ted Face the Music, Bill and Ted ranking, and I'm seeing Tenet on Monday. Yes, review will be out, and my Nolan ranking as well. This could be exciting, guys. I can't wait to get those out. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 23 of the Fallen for Film podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.